India wants peace, but we won't take provocations lightly. That's the gist of Narendra Modi's reaction to Monday's clash on the border with China, a reaction that critics of India's Prime Minister say should have come sooner. At least 20 Indian troops were killed in a disputed Himalayan area. We understand that no shots were fired, soldiers using bats and rocks instead. Earlier this Wednesday, China denied starting the trouble, but said both sides had agreed to talk. Let's go to Delhi now and speak to our correspondent there, Mandakini Gahlot. Mandakini, Modi also saying today that the lives lost won't be in vain. Tell us more about reactions where you are to the border clash on Monday.
Yes, Claire. Now, protests have erupted in some parts of the country with people burning images and effigies of Chinese President Xi Jinping and the Chinese flag. Now, this is quite something because all of this is happening a day after India recorded its highest coronavirus death toll in a single day. Over 2,000 people died yesterday, and citizens are being encouraged to stay indoors. But still, quite a few protests and some groups even calling for a total boycott of Chinese products. But of course, the most important reaction of the day, like you said, was the short televised address Prime Minister Modi made over an hour ago. Like you mentioned, he was criticized a fair amount all day yesterday and earlier today for failing to put out a statement sooner. In fact, the leader of the opposition party, Congress, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, even tweeted earlier this morning asking, why is the Prime Minister silent? Why is he hiding? We need to know what happened. Now, over 36 hours later, the Prime Minister has spoken, and without going into any details of the incident, he said the sacrifice of the 20 soldiers will not go in vain, but also urged that differences with China should not turn into disputes. I'd just like to quote directly from his statement. He says, "For us, the unity and sovereignty of the country is the most important. India wants peace, but it is capable of giving a befitting reply if instigated." Now, that particular sentence has sent military analysts here into a bit of a frenzy, trying to figure out what this befitting reply could be. We likely have to wait to find out. The Prime Minister has called an all-party meeting day after tomorrow to be attended by his senior cabinet members and leaders of all opposition parties, where they're likely to discuss the situation, and we just have to wait and see what emerges from that meeting.
And if you could give us some background on the border dispute.
Absolutely. Now, there's been a decades-long dispute between India and China about the exact location of their borders along the Himalayan range. Now, this is a sparsely populated region that's mostly rock and ice, completely uninhabitable. This border is known as the line of actual control, and the two countries have even gone to war over it back in 1962 and continue to face off well into the 60s, late 60s and 70s, and more recently in the last decade. Now, the trigger for this round of violence appears to be a road that India was building towards a remote air base somewhere in the region, a place called Galvin Valley. India maintains that this road is well within its territory and that it has as much of a right to upgrade its military installations as China. China disputes that the road is within Indian territory. So that appears to be the immediate trigger. But of course, all of this has a long history behind it. Now, it's unlikely that either country will want to escalate this any further, especially India, which is in the middle of its coronavirus pandemic. But that's what it is.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, Mandakini Gahlot there in Delhi for us.